Good morning, sir.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. It's good to have you with us.
Yeah.
For record purposes, can we meet you, sir? What's your name, sir?
Well, I'm Alhaji Dawodu Olowosago of Ikorodu. Now,
Okay.
what else do you think?
I've heard a lot about you, but we just start off in a very light, soft mood.
Yeah.
You said Alhaji Dawodu.
Alhaji Dawodu Olowosago
Of Ikorodu.
Yeah.
So when you say of Ikorodu, can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Oh, I'm an engineer, and I graduated from the United States, Franklin Institute of Technology in Boston, and we spent some time after graduation in the United States in exploring the possibility of coming to Nigeria and make an impact. It took us some time. Then we finally came back in 1979. Was it 79? Yeah. So I came back in 79. So, and in the bid to make some impact or in our environment or in our community, we look around. We try to gather some of our, friends of like minds. We all traveled together. We were in the United States together. We studied together and came back almost at the same time. Mr. Ganny Awobajo. Although he came back earlier than I. So, but I got back. We came together, we united and came together to think of what to do to make an impact in our environment or in our community. And we then connect with some of our friends like Dawodu. I remember. Dawodu, Kamoru Aka again. I think we were about 6 or 5 that got together then and thought of what can we do to make a difference in this community. So we thought maybe we should come up, we establish a club. So we established a club then called Ikorodu Provident Club. That was the name of the club. It was Ikorodu Provident Club. We established the club. We were 5 or 6 of us.
What year, sir?
That was, I think it was 1982 or 81, something like that, around that time. I think it was
not the newspaper yet.
Not the newspaper, yeah, the club. We established the club, Ikorodu Provident Club. Then we thought of what can we do to make an impact in this. It's like a soul searching, because in Ikorodu then there was almost non-existence of some kind of community things that can orient the people, develop the minds of the people to all the good new things coming up in life, We felt maybe we should establish a community daycare or something to at least to develop the surrounding,
Like a daycare?
Like a daycare.
A daycare in what area? Like, when I hear daycare, it means
children things, to develop the minds of our children, something different, like as a club, yes. I mean, like a contribution to the people, Then we said, what about the best thing is to enlighten the minds of the people. The people mind, we have to develop the minds of the people, like make an impact in the way they think, Because the people the minds have to be developed. So we thought maybe we should think of some enlightenment program. We don't want to create a library for the people. Maybe we should establish a newspaper, to enlighten and develop the minds of the people, let people know what is happening around them, So that's how we came up. And then the consensus was that we should establish a newspaper, So we dropped the idea of any other things. We said we should really do the newspaper, because it can develop the minds of the people and put some education, develop develop a system of education in our community, you know. So we thought the newspaper is a better idea, you know. So that's how the newspaper came to be. Then, and it's a good thing that then Ganny Awobajo is a journalist. That's why all other people are different fields, you know. He's a journalist. We said with him, we have no problem, you know. We can take off. So we said, how much would it cost us to really establish a newspaper, you know? That's what we should really think about, you know. Then, how can we raise money to do this? Then the club said we should, then we cost it, you know. Everybody we got together, cost it, how much can we then we try to, as a club, we try to have a fundraising, what do you call it? Fundraising event at the, what do you call it? Mainland Hotel in Bichimeta. We established a fundraising event there. And we invited a lot of people, you know, people that matters, you know, that we think can really contribute to the system, you know. Then Mainland Hotel was, you know, a kind of one of the high class hotel then. Yeah, it was a nice ballroom there. The event took place, and we were able to gather some money, you know, to start with. So that was the beginning. We were able to raise some money. Then we came together to say, okay, let's keep the ball rolling. You know, we set a date, for the event, for the launching of the newspaper. So
between 1981, the club was formed.
Yeah.
Down to 1983, we were now planning towards launching.
Yeah.
So you did it 1983.
1983.
So prior to that time, what was the planning like? What was the preparation like towards August 1983?
The pressure was like we look for how, you know, newsprint. Then we had source for newsprint, source for this, source for that. You know, newsprint then was scarce. You know, you have to really search.
Yes, that's even another question I would like to ask.
Yeah.
How was the newspaper industry, the media industry, as regards print then, before you established, before you came together to work with the Providence newspaper?
The newspaper industry then was like in Ikorodu was in non-existence. You know, like so, but we were able to, because with Ganny Awobajo's influence, we were able to penetrate into some areas where we can buy newsprint, right? In Lagos. Then you know, at that time too, you need typesetters. You need all this. There was no computerization like we have now. You know, you have to have typesetters. You have to have this. You have to have this paste up man, this and that. You know, he was able to gather all those, you know, for us. Then, what else? Then we look for printers. Then there were not too many printers around. Then the first person, I think we started with the Lagos State Printing Press. Right? But Lagos State Printing Press was at Keja then. We started there. Then we end up patronizing one of our own Ikorodu printer there, Bab Sheriff. Yeah. So.
How long did you use the Lagos print before you came down to Bab Sheriff?
I think we used the Lagos State printing for about maybe a year.
Wow.
Maybe a year.
Wow.
When we started, it was like a new baby born. That's something that never happened before, you know. It was a lot of excitement. Could it really be? Would they really establish a newspaper for Ikorodu, you know? But we got together, we made it happen. And the good thing is that people were very interested in helping out then, because all the people that we told about establishing a newspaper, they were ready. If there is any need, if there is any help you can do, people like the Chief Norfolk, the late Chief Norfolk, even Chief Tosh Benson was excited, you know. Otumba Tos Benson was excited that these people can they really do it? Can they do it? Because he was a minister of information. He was very impressed about having a newspaper established in Ikorodu, you know. So and it was like a baby, new baby born, you know. So it was happy. We were happy.
Today, Ikorodu newspaper is considered the best community newspaper in Nigeria. Can you validate that for us? Is it like we have other newspapers then, but when it comes to community, Ikorodu newspaper is considered the first community newspaper in Nigeria as a founding member?
Well, I want to say that is true, that Ikorodu newspaper could be considered as the first community newspaper in Nigeria right now, because when we first established the newspaper, you know, a lot of people thought, well, maybe in 2-3 months, that might be the end of it. They had a story like this before. Not too many people knew we can sustain it for a year or two, you know. But Ikorodu newspaper to 20-30 years now, right? So 40 years. So it's something that hasn't happened as a community newspaper in Nigeria for a long time before. No. I don't think any newspaper has existed as a community newspaper like this. So if you say Ikorodu newspaper is the first community newspaper in Nigeria, I think it is true. Because to sustain it for 40 years, it's never been. No newspaper as a community newspaper has sustained.
Okay. So 1983 August, the paper was officially launched.
Yeah.
When you saw that, wow, we have given birth to printing
a new baby.
A community-oriented newspaper that would serve. Did you see Ikorodu newspaper becoming 40 years today? After when you launched in 1983 August, looking at the longevity.
Well, because of the way the people embraced the idea, I want to thank the people of Ikorodu too, because they were excited, they were impressed. They became more committed, you know. The commitment of the community made it longevity, sustain the paper till now, you know. Because then when first newspaper publication came out, people were excited, people were impressed, you know. 6 months after, they became more impressed, they became more excited. You know, like sometimes when we distribute it to some of our, you know, educated people in their 40s, 60s, when we distribute to them, they say, thank you. They feel so excited. It's like you give them a food they're going to eat for like 6 months, you know. They feel happy. They say, thank you. They feel happy. You can see it in them. The excitement, the commitment, the way the people embrace the newspaper, sustain it. I think it's a good thing, you know. You should be happy about it.
Okay. After the establishment of the newspaper, the Providence News, I think between 1988 1989 came Olowosago.
Oh yes.
And today they are both standing,
Yeah.
so keeping that print media relevant
Yeah.
in the media sector today.
That's right.
What can you say as regards the time gap? Is it that the Ikorodu newspaper was really a source of inspiration, you know, for Olowosago to emerge subsequently? And what can you say about the way the print media really inspired the media sector, not only in Ikorodu but all of the states?
Well, Olowosago is a brother, you know, and you know he's a brother. And he was part of this in the beginning. And that gave him the opportunity to see the scope, the opportunity that the community newspaper has, you know. So he felt the scope is large. He can fit in it. That's why he was excited. He was impressed. I think that gave him the opportunity to really establish his own newspaper. He felt he can also fit in with his own newspaper. So, and he came in a big way. He's enjoying the opportunity now. So
at some point you moved back to America.
yeah,
And how, when you were over there and seeing that the newspaper still continue to thrive in the market, in the sector, how do you feel looking at the time gap and how newspaper has continued to thrive?
well, uh, that gives me a lot of pride. I feel proud about it that this is a thing we established, and we can live to witness the growth of the newspaper and the fact that the paper is still there. We can still lay our hand on it. It's a big happiness to me, and I'm very proud of it.
All right, we are back, and welcome back, SARS. We are moving on with this section, and also we have an addition, a special personality. We have also the chief publisher of Ikorodu newspaper, who is now joining the section to speak for the agency with Alhaji Dawodu. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. We see you as let's just say the both of you as the godfathers when it comes to the print media today. Just like, for instance, like my own little brand, it looks up to what the foundation that you've laid over time. Okay, I want to take you briefly, sir, back. When we were earlier interviewing Alhaji Dawodu, he said something about the establishment of a real club around. It will be taken out. The establishment of Ikorodu Providence Club around the 1981-1982 mark, before you begin to brainstorm and think of what the club can do to support the community, which was when it ended up having the idea to establish Ikorodu Providence newspaper. And he said, according to him, that you were the only professional journalist in the midst, and they needed your lens, through your lens, to be able to establish the newspaper back then. Looking at the responsibility that was placed on you at that time, sir, what would you say was your mindset back then before you started brainstorming to raise funds and launch the paper eventually?
Yeah, but it was very simple. The lot fell on me, the professional side of it fell on me. But I felt so okay because I believe that we are going to get it done. Because the way to establish that newspaper, we could do Provident News at that time, as it was called then, is there for all of us. All members of the club at that time, we wanted that thing to happen. And so they gave me support. And we really worked together. Even so, those of them who are members of the club, who are not in the field, they show an enthusiasm. And that the enthusiasm they showed for that paper to succeed, fired me up, so that we could establish that paper, put it on a sound footing, and achieve our aims and objectives, which is to contribute to the development of the community. We believe that we can use the paper, the community paper, to gear up the people of the community, to get them up to our collective responsibilities for the development of our community. And I think I heard you say that the newspaper was well received by the people of the community, including the elites and particularly the grassroots. They felt that it was a big thing to have happened to Ikorodu at that time.
And in a follow-up to that, sir, I want to ask this very question. At a point, Alhaji went back to the US.
Yes.
You took charge and you were bringing up. At some point in time, technology began to come into the picture. I believe you over there, sir, at the West, you can see the transformation that is coming. He is there, he was seeing it coming down here. Were there any points where you communicated in terms of, wow, the industry is about to change, some things are coming up in terms of technology that is going to really put more light on the print media? Was there a communication? Because as people who were there before technology came in, there will be that kind of communication back and forth in terms of the impact it will make on the print media sector. Sir. Was there any kind of communication back then?
The kind of what?
A communication. He was over there, you were here, and technology was coming. Then there was no website, there was no blog, it was just print or TV, radio. But when technology came, it changed a lot of things. Were there communications between you in terms of the changes that were coming to the sector?
Well, the changes in technology does not affect us in any, in any adverse way. In fact, it boosted our opportunity to continue, because he's living here, I'm here, and we are communicating. And whenever there's any problem, I come and say, if I have some kind of problem, and we think together and we find a way out. And the person who was calling me just now is Borisha. So he too, the three of us, see, the three of us played a major role in seeing that Ikorodu News continues to flourish. So the fact that there was change in the technology does not affect us adversely. In fact, it has helped us to continue. And for example, now it has helped us to minimize, running helter-skelter.
Yeah.
I think you get what I mean.
Yes.
Before we had to, whenever.
You said it about some of the equipment that we need to put in place in order for the print to always. But technology has really lessened.
No more typesetting. No more.
Exactly.
No more pre-stop parties.
No more pre-stop. No more. Going to the artist. For example, the man who is doing our graphic, all I have to do is send all this to him. I don't have to go to him. I don't have to send anybody to him, unless when we are going to the press, now sit down together, we look at the pages, we see where there are any mistakes or that we should correct before we finally go to press. So technology has really helped us a lot. Has helped us a lot for this to accept that cost of production is rising and rising and rising, and we are trying to see what we can do to continue to be able to cope.
Okay, this is what we do, sir. We are on. You mentioned Otumba Borisha. Can you tell us a little bit about the role he played, back then in terms of working together as a team to really establish the agency, sir?
Well, when we started, Borisha, in fact, I'm really impressed about his contribution.
That's true.
Yeah, he was not a journalist. He too, so in those days, he would be looking for a source of information, something you can put in the paper. He would call me, Ganny, they are doing something. There's a ceremony going on there, there's a program going on there, we should go and cover it. So that he would go there.
He was a big source.
Yes, he will go there to that program and cover what's happening here, then bring it to me, then I will put professional touch. He's a community advocate, like all of the two of us here. We are community advocates. We were so much concerned about the development of our areas. That's because we lived in civilized society. We work and live
we solely and live.
Civilized society. We saw what is happening there. So we wanted the same thing for our own community. So that's what that just gave us the zeal to start this newspaper, to make sure that
that's true.
Possible.
Okay, a little bit off the track, like we are talking about Otumba Borisha. Olowosago, they are presently celebrating their 50th anniversary. anniversary.
Oriu
Club.
Oriu Club, they are celebrating their 50th anniversary. A club is just like your club that now presented Ikorodu Provident newspaper. Oriu Club, though they didn't projected any, as in like a newspaper or whatever, but they did other things. I think the space is 10 years because they are celebrating 50, you are celebrating 40.
Yes.
Okay, so what can you say in terms of if you want to give them a message, a congratulatory message for their 40th, 50th anniversary?
Yes. Well, Oriu Club.
Well, Oriu Club has been a premier club to Ikorodu, and we are very happy about the fact that the club up to now maintains its status as a front runner, and it's also wonderful to have one of us as the president of the club right now. I'm very happy about it. Although we have families in there as members, but we are appreciative of his position as the president of the club right now. I congratulate him so much. And long may the club reign.
Amen.
Thank you very much. During the advent of Ikorodu newspaper, Ikorodu back then, was
Local
it
government.
just a local government or local government LCBS like we have it today?
No, it was just one local government. It was one local Ikorodu local government comprising all the local LCDs that we have. We have 6. But before, at the time we established the part, it was just one local government. Okay. And we distributed across the local governments. And also, we were also distributed at Lagos State Secretariat for Governor's Office, all the ministries, departments, and agencies at that time. And up to now, up to today.
Okay, before we drop this segment, sir, I would like to ask you, was there any particular report, if you can remember, during the span of the early days, a report you made that really triggered the local government attention or the states that really fostered a lot of changes in the communities? Can you remember one of your specific reports that you made on the paper that caused a lot of...
Well, but there are so many reports. There are so many, but I cannot start recalling, all of them. But I always recall one time, there was a problem at the local level at that time that we reported that attracted the attention of the then local government chairman. I think it was
Awolisi.
Yeah. So because the way we are reporting the problems at the local level, the man was so impressed, and so in fact he's the best local government chairman we ever had in this division.
Yes.
He will respond any time we mention. We think there are some problems in any locality. His government will respond positively, whether it is road or water or whatever it is. Yeah, whatever rural problem that there is. In fact, the man was so much concerned about rural areas. It was during his time when we started this paper, when we started indicating problem areas at the rural areas. So at that time, immediately we mentioned there's a problem in that area. The man put attention to that problem. But there are another area. I thought you were going to ask me at the time whether we had any difficulty with government. Maybe he will not remember. It was during the time of Muhammad Buhari, where he was head of state. We wrote a very strong editorial, front page editorial, against his government because we were not happy the way he was detaining people, recklessly, detaining people. His government, he overthrew the government of Shagari. And at that time, the UPN states that belonged to Awolowo's UPN, they were doing well. They were doing well before they took over.
Yeah.
When Buhari took over, he was going after of these UPN governors. The governors that were judged to have done well in their states, they were the ones this Buhari government was going after at that time. And we were so mad, we are so annoyed. So we wrote a very strong editorial. Ikorodu news of, I think it was 1984, yes, around May or June 1984. So I thought that the Buhari would be coming after us. No, so we are very careful. So I stopped going to our office at the time.
I remember.
So that was the time.
Wow.
So, but we thank God that nothing happened to us.
So, sir, 40th anniversary. Word of message to your supporters, to Ikorodu, to Lagos State, and to Nigeria.
Well, I want to say that on behalf of the proprietors, the founders of Ikorodu News, I want to thank all the people of Ikorodu, high and low, the local governments, the successive local governments, the local governments, successive Lagos State governments since 1983 when we established WIPA. We want to also express our appreciation to corporate bodies in the Ikorodu division who have helped us one way or the other to keep this paper going up to today. Our friends, there are some of our friends who are not in business, but who gave us moral support.
Yeah.
You know, moral support too is very important when you are pursuing a goal. So you are giving us moral support, and we are so much happy about it.
We also want to thank the religious house, like the churches, the mosques. They have patronized us from the beginning. They were good patronage. So I want to thank them.
So I also want to express a very hearty appreciation to some of the people who worked with us, from the beginning of the establishment of the news. But there are so many of them. I can only mention those I can remember, like Dawodu was our graphic artist. There was Olowosago, there was Adimola Aditoyin, there was Aboseje, Lydia Aboseje. We also had Mr. Tunde Adebogun, Shegun Buteji, Shogadada, and so many of them, including yourself, Michael Irumona. We appreciate you very much. We appreciate your contribution so far. As I said earlier, I appreciate your initiative and your initiatives you have taken to help to boost the image of Ikorodu News, and also to, you are boosting the image of Ikorodu News by putting it on online as an online media. And since you have done that, we can see that people have got to know more and more about Ikorodu News. The popularity has continued to spread, and we hope that the relationship between us will continue to foster. I thank you very much, and God bless you. I wish you very best in your future endeavors.